It's time for NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. The latest from around the Wenatchee Valley and North Central Washington with Steve Hare, Cody Johnson, and sports with Eric Granstrom.
Good evening and welcome to NCW Life News for a Tuesday. I'm Steve Hare. A few of the stories we're following for you tonight. The Chelan County PUD commissioners began the next steps on advanced metering. We'll also have an update on the search for a missing glysator in the Enchantments and more. In fact, later on, we'll have sports with Eric Granstrom and, of course, your weather forecast with Dan Kuntz. First, though, our top story, Chelan County PUD is moving forward with plans to develop a smart metering system. Commissioners yesterday agreed to proceed with a request for proposals from vendors wanting to supply digital two-way electric meters to the PUD. Commissioner Steve McKenna cited the PUD's mission to provide reliable electric rate service that guided him in his decision to approve the action. The final vote was unanimous, although Commissioner Ann Congdon said she still has reservations concerning health issues, and those relate to electromagnetic fields.
My biggest issue is the saturation in the environment, the saturation of all these different electromagnetic fields coming from all the different devices. And I understand that the smart meter is a small incremental addition to that. But, you know, it's just of grave concern to me that we are changing the nature of our environment so dramatically.
In reaction, the PUD's Andy Wendell dismissed the health concerns when he discussed that matter on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley back in April.
The fact of the matter is that we have no credible research that suggests there's any negative health impacts associated with smart meters, right? So we just don't. But we have been getting great feedback as well. Of course, there's people that are concerned, and we're listening to that concern, and we're trying to put the industry experts in front of them so that they can field those questions.
Meanwhile, PUD General Manager Steve Wright also cited World Health Organization studies that minimized the health threat from the two-way metering. Now, the advanced digital meters are one element of Chelan County PUD's technology vision for an intelligent grid that provides value for customers with increased service options, along with efficiency gains for the PUD to help keep electric rates low. Pending a decision from commissioners after reevaluating responses to that request for proposals, installation could start in late 2018 or early 2019. Also today, the search for a Mercer Island man who disappeared into a snow hole in a weekend glysading accident in the Asgard Pass area has been suspended. Chelan County Search and Rescue Team were flown into the area to locate 19-year-old Benjamin Gore. He went missing Saturday while sliding with a friend on a snowfield in an area between Kolchak Peak and Dragon Tail Mountain. Kent Sisson is the SAR, or Search and Rescue Coordinator, said there's nothing more rescuers can do until the situation becomes more safe to send someone into that hole.
We did a search of the hole as best we could to the point that it was safe to insert somebody. And due to the amount of snowpack and the massive amount of water flow that's going into the hole from the waterfall, they were only able to get a visual in about 15 feet, and there was no sign of Benjamin Gore, who is the missing glysator. It's expected that he went down over a ledge inside the snowpack, much further down, and due to the fact that the snowpack is 25 to 35 feet deep at that point, it'll probably be several weeks before we can actually access the body and make a recovery. The family understands the situation. We had a long debrief with them yesterday, and they understand that it could be 3 weeks to a month before we have enough snow melt off at this point that we can safely access the area. Probably we'll have to create a hole below where we can access where the body ended up. This is a hole that we actually had somebody go in last year, and so we're somewhat familiar with the characteristics of the hole, and there's just no safe way to put a rescuer in there at this point.
According to Sisson, glysading is a dangerous activity that involves descending a steep slope in a controlled slide using an ice axe as a brake. Also, the Grant County Sheriff's Department said the multi-agency response to the fire near the Vantage Bridge on I-90 Sunday went according to plan. It was a plan that had been organized over a year ago to deal with situations where Interstate 90 would need to be shut down.
Back in 2015, the Washington State Patrol, the Grant County Sheriff's Office, the Multi-Agency Communications Center, Live Nation, who's the promoter at the Gorge Amphitheater, and Washington DOT got around the table and discussed how we were going to improve the impacts on motorists when we have to shut down I-90 and under what conditions we do that, and then how we respond to doing that. That came after several wildfires on the stretch between George and the Vantage Bridge, where we had wildfires that were encroaching on the freeway, and we had to shut down the freeway and then safely get motorists off the freeway and safely get firefighters onto the freeway to fight the fires. So during that meeting, we got together, created a very good plan on how we would all respond to it. We had our first opportunity in 2017 to do it this past weekend with the milepost 142 fire, which happened about 11 miles west of George. And it went very well. The cooperation between all the agencies was fantastic. We were able to quickly get that plan into place, make notifications to motorists, and get resources out to create the detours to make sure motorists were safe. Usually when we do anything, have an operation or do an exercise, we find some things that we can fix. This time around, we didn't have any gaps in the plan, but we know that that's an opportunity for us to pat ourselves on the back, but also not to take for granted that the next time we might have some challenges that we need to fix. So we're happy the plan went well, but we're also looking forward to fixing the plan whenever we have any gaps.
NCW Live News continues now. Wenatchee police recovered a stolen vehicle yesterday, but the car thief got away. It happened when an officer spotted a suspicious vehicle in a Riverfront Park parking lot. It was learned that the Toyota Corolla was reportedly stolen from Oregon. A brief pursuit ended when the suspect fled the vehicle while it was still in gear, continued forward till it collided with a parked car. 2 passengers remained inside the vehicle but were not hurt. But the driver, described as a Hispanic male with a thin build, ran towards the Columbia River. The sheriff's canine and helicopter searched the area, but the suspect remains at large. If you have information to share, contact Officer Josh Vernig, 888-4128. Coming up, Pangbourne Airport could see financial support for expanded service from Chelan County Commissioners. City of Wenatchee cautions residents to be on the lookout for an inspector scam. We'll also talk insect prevention with the Health District. I'm Steve Hare. You're watching NCW Life News.
Stay up to date with what's happening in North Central Washington. Go to the NCW Life Community Calendar at ncwlife.com.
Welcome back to NCW Live News. Chelan County Commissioners say they support the Port District's efforts to add more destinations out of Pangbourne Airport, but they've not yet decided if they will support it financially. Port officials met with the commissioners Monday to discuss the port's expanded air service investment program. It involves a partnership in which a financial risk is shared between the airline, the community, and the federal government. Commissioner Keith Gaynor says he likes the idea.
Great to have more options and to utilize that airport. The amount of money that was spent in extending the runway, it certainly would be great to maximize, the possibilities for other connections. Before they had talked about just having, shorter connections. They talked about like to Spokane or to whatever. But when you talk about San Francisco, what they presented to us, it really does create some real opportunities for other connecting flights. So it does look like would be a good option for local travelers, and not only them traveling but bringing people in. So there's a lot of talk about actually promoting the area through that connection also. So it's not just for us to take advantage of getting out of town, it's bringing others in, which would be a good boost for the area.
Community contributions through the program are combined with a federal grant into a pool of funds from which the airline can draw if revenue does not cover their expenses during the first 2 years of service. Now, if the service is successful, the remaining community funding would be returned to the community investors at the end of the 2-year period. The Port has raised over $280,000 toward its $400,000 goal through partnerships with a variety of businesses, individuals, and public entities. Well, there's been an instance of someone impersonating a city employee, that's a Wenatchee city employee, as a backflow inspector who also requested access inside a residence. Officials caution that city employees do not perform backflow inspections. Those types of inspections are provided by contractors, and those should never require access inside of a home. If someone is at your home for an inspection, stating they're from the city, you should first ask for their identification and then notice if they're in a city vehicle. If you're concerned about someone at your home that you feel is not legitimate, please contact Rivercom 663-9911. Springtime in north central Washington usually means more pollinators in the orchards and gardens, but it also means more bee stings. Public health officials say those with allergies should take extra care.
If you're having a systemic reaction and you're starting to have swelling, in a significant part of your body, and much less, in your mouth and throat where breathing's at stake, then going to the ER is the answer, unless you have an EpiPen. And beyond that, I think treating it with baking soda paste and that sort of thing can reduce the immediate sting.
Chelan Douglas County Health District Administrator Barry Kling also recommends some tips on another seasonal pest, mosquitoes.
Anything you have around your place, wherever you live, that has standing water in it, really emptying that can really make a difference. Or if it's a pond, making sure that it's treated to kill the larvae before they become mosquitoes. And the other part of it, of course, is using insect repellent and covering your skin when you're out, especially in the evenings. And the reason is because mosquitoes can convey diseases. And, West Nile is one of concern, although we haven't had a whole lot of it in the state. We do not have the Zika-carrying mosquitoes in this part of the country.
More information on the West Nile virus is available through the Washington State Department of Health. You're watching NCW Live News. Coming up next, we have Eric Granstrom with sports and our feature today highlighting the event at the New America Performing Arts Center last night in honor of the late Leslie McEwen.
Get the fastest internet available in north central Washington by switching to LocalTel and get speeds up to 1,000 meg. Call 888-8888 today or go online to localtel.net.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
And a good Tuesday evening. The Wenatchee Apple Sox bats came alive in a 9-4 victory over the Victoria Harbor Cats last night to open a 3-game series. Voice of the Apple Sox, Trevor Williams, has the details.
Well, it was a nice win last night for the Wenatchee Apple Sox, 9-4 here at Royal Athletic Park. 2 home runs for Adrian Vela in the game, 1 for Cody Simmons, a Wenatchee native as well, and Colin Mayer picked up his first win of the season. The first Apple Sox win of the season, and Game 2 is Saturday night at 6:35 with Hugh Smith up on the mound for Wenatchee.
He said Saturday. He means tonight, as Apple Sox now 1-3 on the season. In a move voted on and approved by the British Columbia Hockey League, a structural realignment will place the Wenatchee Wild in the Interior Conference beginning next year. The 17-team league is divided into 2 conferences, with the Coastal Conference comprised of the Island and Mainland divisions, each with 5 teams. The Interior Conference has just 1 division made up of 7 teams, which now includes the Wenatchee Wild. The Wild competed in the Mainland division for the first 2 seasons of the BCHL. Well, tonight's the 47th Annual NCW Sports Awards and Wenatchee Valley College Hall of Fame induction ceremony at the Town Toyota Center. Athletes and coaches from throughout north central Washington recognized for their work on and off the court, field, and mat. Wenatchee North Rotary's Rob Tidd was a guest last week on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley.
There are 6. So there's top male, top female.
Of both high school and college, correct?
High school.
Primarily
high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then female coach, male coach, and then male team, and then female teams.
We'll have a recap tomorrow night right here on the NCW Life channel, and we are running our cameras for it to record it, and we'll play it back Friday at 7 o'clock. Mariners have won 7 of their past 8, host Minnesota tonight in the first of 3 games at Safeco Field. James Paxton on the mound against Hector Santiago. Quickly in baseball on Monday, a couple of games in American League West. Houston continues to win 7-3 over KC. Oakland beat Toronto. With sports, I'm Eric Granstrom on the NCW Life channel. Steve, back to you.
Thanks, Eric. Well, the Wenatchee Fine Arts community honored the late Leslie McEwen last night with a Stanley Civic Center Lifetime Achievement Award. Now, Leslie was a world-class singer and a beloved vocal coach here locally. Her life was celebrated in a special tribute performance at the Performing Arts Center last night. Here are some of the highlights courtesy of Skeeter Buggins Productions.
Because of Leslie's ferocious commitment to the performing arts, the Wenatchee Valley has been changed. And to borrow a phrase from one of our songs later, and because we knew her, we have been changed for good.
Because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for good.
And she takes her bow and she comes out with a look that's like, I know I'm all that. Walks over to the stage and goes,
Says the Numerica Performing Arts Center, our board of directors, and the Stanley Lifetime Achievement Award is presented to Leslie McEwen with deepest gratitude for enriching the lives of so many through a lifetime of devotion to the arts and our community.
You gotta ring them bells, you gotta ring them bells, you gotta make them sing and really ring them bells. It's such a happy 600 minutes. How do you measure the life of a woman or a man?
Truths that she learned, or in times that he cried, in bridges he burned, or the way that she died.
It's time now to sing out, though the story never ends. Let's all my life I lived for loving you. Let me go now.
Leslie McEwen in a tribute at last night's Performing Arts Center. Thanks to Skeeter Buggins Productions for providing us with that recording. We'll be right back in just a moment with a recap of today's top stories, also your weather forecast for north central Washington as NCW Life News continues.
Stay up to date with what's happening in north central Washington. Go to the NCW Life community calendar at ncwlife.com.
Recapping on NCW Live top stories for a Tuesday, Chelan County PUD is moving forward with plans to develop a smart metering system. Commissioners agreed to proceed with a request for proposals from vendors wanting to supply digital two-way electric meters to the PUD. Commissioner Steve McKenna cited the PUD's ongoing mission to provide reliable electric rate service that guided him in his decision to approve the action. Final vote was unanimous, although Commissioner Ann Congdon said she still has reservations concerning health issues relating to electromagnetic fields.
My biggest issue is the saturation in the environment, the saturation of all these different electromagnetic fields coming from all the different devices. And I understand that the smart meter is a small incremental addition to that. But, you know, it's just of grave concern to me that we are changing the nature of our environment so dramatically.
The PUD's Andy Wendell dismissed the health concerns when he discussed the matter on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley back in April.
The fact of the matter is that we have no credible research that suggests there's any negative health impacts associated with smart meters, right? So we just don't. But we have been getting great feedback as well. Of course, there's people that are concerned, and we're listening to that concern, and we're trying to put the industry experts in front of them so that they can field those questions.
Meanwhile, PUD General Manager Steve Wright also cited World Health Organization studies that minimize the health threat. The advanced two-way digital meters are one element of Chelan County PUD's technology vision for an intelligent grid that provides value for customers with increased service options along with efficiency gains for the PUD to help keep those electric rates low. Pending a final decision from the commissioners after evaluating some of the responses to the RFP, installation could start as early as next year. Well, the search for a Mercer Island man who disappeared into a snow hole in a weekend glyciding accident in the Cascades has been suspended. Chelan County Search and Rescue Team was flown into the area to locate 19-year-old Benjamin Gore. He went missing Saturday while sliding with a friend down a snowfield in an area between Kolchak Peak and Dragon Tail Mountain. Kent Sisson with the Chelan County Search and Rescue said there's nothing more rescuers can do until the situation becomes more safe to send someone into the hole. Glyciding, a dangerous activity that involves descending a steep slope in a controlled slide using an ice axe as a brake. Grant County Sheriff's Department said the multi-agency response to the fire near the Vantage Bridge Sunday went according to plan. Said it was a plan that had been organized over a year ago to deal with situations where Interstate 90 would need to be shut down.
So back in 2015, the Washington State Patrol, the Grant County Sheriff's Office, the Multi-Agency Communications Center, Live Nation, who's the promoter at the Gorge Amphitheater, and Washington DOT got around the table and discussed how we were going to improve the impacts on motorists when we have to shut down I-90 and under what conditions we do that, and then how we respond to doing that. That came after several wildfires on the stretch between George and the Vantage Bridge, where we had wildfires that were encroaching on the freeway, and we had to shut down the freeway and then safely get motorists off the freeway and safely get firefighters onto the freeway to fight the fires. So during that meeting, we got together, created a very good plan on how we would all respond to it. We had our first opportunity in 2017 to do it this past weekend with the milepost 142 fire, which happened about 11 miles west of George. And it went very well. The cooperation between all the agencies was fantastic. We were able to quickly get that plan into place, make notifications to motorists, and get resources out to create the detours to make sure motorists were safe. Usually when we do anything, have an operation or do an exercise, we find some things that we can fix. This time around, we didn't have any gaps in the plan, but we know that that's an opportunity for us to pat ourselves on the back, but also not to take for granted that the next time we might have some challenges that we need to fix. So we're happy the plan went well, but we're also looking forward to fixing the plan whenever we have any gaps.
And again, thanks for Kyle Foreman with the Grant County Sheriff's Department for that information. NCW Life News continues now. Dan Kuntz has your weather forecast for north central Washington.
One more day of fairly sunny and very mild weather before things begin to change Wednesday night into Thursday and an unsettled weekend. As we look at the big picture, as you can tell, high pressure is centered over the central part of Oregon. It will eventually and gradually glide off to the east, and that's going to allow low pressure that you see on the left-hand side of your screen to pay us a visit. And that means partly cloudy skies tonight, 59 for the overnight low, sunshine Wednesday and a high near 91 degrees. Now we start talking about thunderstorms and certainly rain. Wednesday night is when the low pressure ridge will begin to move in, and that means a chance of showers, gusty winds, and lots of clouds, 63 for the overnight low. And there is a chance of some evening thunderstorms Wednesday night spilling in to Thursday. Thursday, we are going to get wet. Showers likely on Thursday. Lots of clouds, high of 71. No real wind to speak of, but certainly quite a bit of rain. Thursday night, the system begins to exit the area. Partly cloudy skies, 50 for the overnight low. And then Friday, chance of showers and thunderstorms and a high of 69. And that's your forecast on the NCW Life channel.
Thanks, Dan. Well, that's a wrap on our Tuesday edition of NCW Life News. For more on these stories and other news from around north central Washington, find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd sure like you to share that news with us. You can email us at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-NCWL. I'm Steve Hare. Have a good night.
This has been NCW Life News on the NCW Life channel. For more news, log on to ncwlife.com, like us on Facebook, and follow NCW Life channel on Twitter.
Get the fastest internet available in north central Washington by switching to LocalTel and get speeds up to 1,000 meg. Call 888-8888 today or go online to localtel.net.